Good morning.
Good morning.
I had the pleasure of being here with you, I think about 6 weeks ago. I guess some of you were not here, but those of you who were here, do you remember what we talked about?
Oneness.
Oneness. You don't remember the rest of it, that's okay, because I'll repeat it the same thing. So it's new to you. We basically introduced the topic of oneness, which is what you're all about, and what Baha'is are all about. And oneness that we talked about was in terms of the three onennesses that Asha so beautifully sang. God is one, man is one, and all religions agree. And this, in essence, is what you're all about. We're having all the symbols of all religions up here, from Hinduism and Buddhism to Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Baha'i faith. So this is what religion is all about, should be all about. That we, as the member of these groups, understand, and we want to try to help others understand the same basic three tenets of oneness. Now, today I just want to focus on one aspect of this three onennesses, which is oneness of religion. This is a long and huge topic. And last time when we talked, there's probably one thing that some of you friends remember. I said that in my own imagination or thoughts or good feelings, that your church, your congregation would be probably the first one who would merge with Baha'is. I said maybe in the next 30 or 40 years. But after today, I hope that we will reduce that time frame from 40 years to 4 years. So I may be able to see it as well. Now, the reason for that is especially this book that I'm going to share a few passages of it with you. It's called The Proofs of Baha'u'llah's Mission. You know, back in the middle of 19th century when Baha'i faith was revealed, there were very few, if any, who were thinking of this important concept of oneness of religion. Oneness of us as human beings coming together. Well, 100 years before Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, you all remember, you know about Voltaire, right? Now, what Voltaire told us was that I may disagree with you 100%, but what did he say? I will tolerate you, right? So the beginning of tolerance, all these religions, all these differences, all these animosity that still goes on in many parts of the globe. But he was telling us that let's at least tolerate each other, right? And your group has come to the point of acceptance, you know. These are all the different paths to God, and they're all fine and dandy. So let's go beyond the point of tolerance and accept one another. Because the purpose of it all is what? Is to make us harmonize and unify and kind and compassionate, right? So this is the idea that you and us share. But I'd like you to think about this point, that Baha'u'llah wants us to go one step further. He teaches us what is called progressive revelations, which means all these religions, 8 or 9 main religions of the world, are connected, not only historically connected, but God has brought them for a purpose, for a particular age, and all the main tenets of these religions, the main tenet, which is kindness and compassion and love and unity, it all remains the same, right? Whether you go to Hinduism or Islam or Baha'i faith or Christianity and others, they all teach this basic tenet, right? Baha'u'llah says that this is all the same. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. The social teachings change. Now, I didn't even talk about what we call the 12 principles of the Baha'i faith. But because by observing you, by being here the last 3 years, I noticed that you believe in these 12 tenets, starting with one God and one. The foundation of all religions is one, and there's one race, which is the human race. But then going on to this thing that you all practice, which is independent search for truth. Now, for years and years, generation after generation, humanity has been brainwashed to follow exactly what the father said, or what the mother said, or what the priest said, or what this guy said, that guy said, and said we follow it because he said so, right? But Baha'i in particular says we have come to the age of maturity. This is not the age of maturity. Everyone, our children, should be trained to think for themselves. That's what he called independent search for truth. You follow that. So I didn't even talk about that. But this is one of those important tenets that he emphasizes. Let me try to see if I remember one of the quotes of Baha'u'llah in this regard. In one of his books, he has about 100 volumes of work, which is called the Book of Certitude, how we can search independently and reach the point of certitude in terms of this oneness, so that this oneness becomes part of us, firm in such a way that will promote it to the entire world. He says, no man shall attain the shores of the ocean of true understanding, except he be detached from all that is in heaven and on earth. Sanctify your souls, O people of the earth, that happily ye may attain the station that God hath destined for you. In essence, this is the beginning of search for truth. Become independent. Become pure, with pure motives, with pure thoughts. And search from the bottom of your heart, and God will guide you to get back to that point of oneness, which is God himself. And also in that respect, then Baha'u'llah considers all religions to be connected and chapters of the same book. He actually calls them chapters of the same book, progressively revealed to mankind so that we can all be totally connected. We believe in these things, but this is just probably another level of understanding it more deeply. And then again, I didn't focus on this because he says that another element of being in that path is to be totally free from prejudices and superstitions and unfounded dogmas. And therefore, one of the things that you practice is that science and religion should be in harmony. If my religion, your religion, is not in harmony with science, what is it? Should you believe, and Baha'u'llah emphasizes, it's not religion, it's superstition. It is unfounded dogma. No prophet came to cut the sea in half. No prophet came to physically, as far as we're concerned, go off to the heaven and after 3 days or 1 week or 10 days come down to the earth. This is scientifically impossible. So Baha'is believe that all of these things are metaphors which have deeper meaning. Deeper meaning. And now that we have come to this age, beautiful age of science, we have to appreciate it and we have to align our thoughts in harmony with science. Because if we don't, we also become prejudiced and superstition. And we open a prayer book or Bible or Quran or whatever scripture it is, and we take it literally. And that literally is what we see now today, like what we saw 1,000 years ago in Crusade. We now see it in what these guys are doing in the Middle East, because they're taking those passages literally. And then, rather than bringing religion to the point of harmony and love, they make it a point of hatred and division. And in that regard, Baha'u'llah says that religion should be, this is the fundamental. Religion should be what? A cause of love and harmony. If you go to a church or synagogue or mosque, and you see that what you're hearing is not in line with harmony and beauty and oneness, just leave that church, because you're better off without it. So he says religion should be a cause of love and harmony. If not, you're better off without it. think we all agree on that one, right? And that's why we're here. That's why your church and our church, we call it center, would merge one of these days. I have no doubt about it. And I know that you're struggling for rent too, so that will help. So the reason why I said that this, if we take it seriously, we just have a few minutes. So I don't have time to go through this, but this book is basically the essence of what Baha'u'llah is telling us about oneness of religion. Really deep. It goes deeper than what we individually can think about. We all think about unity, love, all these different paths, they're all fine, right? It's all fine. But it takes us to the point of us thinking about progressive revelations, about these being chapters of the same book, about the fact, and also he goes this one step further. He says that if you deny one, what? You deny them all. He says that all these manifestations of God, from Jesus and Buddha to Baha'u'llah, are one in essence. They're one spirit. They came at different times because the need of man was different at different times. Yet, he goes in this 240 pages, takes us through this journey of oneness, so that our thoughts become consolidated in understanding the essence of what God is, what religion is, and what the true meaning of unity is. So with that, I want to say less of what I say and more of Baha'u'llah's reflections. So I struggled as I went through this 240 pages, 39 chapters. I struggled as to which passages I should choose to share here. But I thought maybe this is still, I'm dreaming. But in this dream that I have, I thought that maybe us and you jointly will have a class in the course of the next 4 years. With 39 chapters, I said it's almost 4 years. And each month in this class, joint group, we'll go through one of these chapters deeply and discuss it and analyze it. And I'm telling you, when I go through this, it totally makes us firm in this idea of oneness of religion. So I'll share with you just a few passages. I know they'll warn me that 10 minutes.
No, you're good.
I'm okay. I'm just getting started, Wanting to share the words of Baha'u'llah and his eldest son. His name was Abdul Baha. And also, let me tell you this, he has devised, Baha'u'llah in his divine wisdom, because he went, like Jesus, he went to no school. As soon as he said who he is, they exiled him, they put him in jail, they tortured him, all the rest that you all know about, all religions. So they all have it in common. That's the journey that they take in order to save us from ourselves, right? From our divisive thoughts, from disharmonious way to make us harmonize and one. So his eldest son, his title was Abdul Baha, that we read a few passages from him. And in his divine wisdom, he said that in the past, for one thing, because of the situation, maybe there was no paper, no inability to write, whatever, no prophet of God in the past had a will, right? Had a written will. Baha'u'llah didn't want to make that mistake. He has a written will. And he trained his eldest son, whose title was Abdul Baha, that whatever I have written in these 100 volumes of books, this 40 years that he was in jail, and you don't understand, ask my eldest son until he's living. So that when I die tomorrow, you Baha'is, I see the 15, 20 of them here, you don't create 20 different sects, and each one of you be Baha'i of this group, Baha'i that group. So when you hear the word Baha'i, is that the time has come, not only for unification of the humankind, but no more sectarianship. 1,000 sects of Christianity, 72 sects of Islam, and it says this was for the age of adolescence of mankind, when we got together and divided ourselves. It's time for absolute unity. So if you have a question, ask my son. And then when we pass on and until today, he says that he created this idea of democracy and at the same time order, because sometimes democracy can be chaotic, right? We see it today. This group, that group, Republican, Democrat, they supposedly come and have an interview on TV, right? But they just lash at each other and they end at that. There's no compromise in that sense. So in his divine wisdom, he created a system which is both democratic and at the same time unifying. And that's what they call, you may have heard, of the group that we have, which is called Universal House of Justice. He said every 5 years, all the Baha'is from across the globe, well, there are a few millions, hopefully in a few years there'll be hundreds of millions, should get together, like I said, the same way that we do with the election, a three-step process. And from among all the people of the planet, you elect 9 people who represent you and represent God at the same time. So that there won't be one man who says, I'm the authority. And that is also democratic. And then if there's any difference, they would solve it so that you won't create this thing. That's the group that we have that resides in Haifa, Israel. And by the way, Muslims are very much after the Baha'i say that, you and the Israelis, we're all together. And so we are against, not only we're against Israel, we're also against you guys. And the reason why it is in Israel is that Baha'u'llah was a prisoner of the Persian and Ottoman Empire. By the time he died in Israel. And so that's why the global center of Baha'i is in Israel. 6 minutes. So in this 6 minutes, I'm going to share with you now, for sure, the writings of Baha'u'llah Nabawi. He says, reality or truth is one. Yet there are many religious beliefs, denominations, creeds, and differing opinions in the world today. Why should these differences exist? Because they do not investigate and examine the fundamental unity, which is one and unchanging. If they seek reality itself, they will agree and be united. The reality is indivisible and not multiple. It is evident, therefore, that there is nothing of greater importance to mankind than the investigation of truth. Independent investigation, without prejudice, without superstition. Moving on. He says, a new age has begun. He says, when the holy, divine manifestations of prophets appear in the world, a cycle of radiance, an age of mercy dawns. Everything is renewed. Minds, hearts, and all human forces are reformed. Perfections are quickened. Science's discoveries and investigations are stimulated. And everything pertaining to the virtues of the human world is revitalized. Based on Baha'u'llah's explanation, every religion is everlasting, it's all one and the same. But it says that its greater impact is in the first 1,000 years. Just, we can go through all the religions, but look at Christianity itself. What did we have in the first 1,000 years? Absolute unity. There was one religion. There was one faith. What was it? The Christian faith. Which was the purpose of Jesus, right? No religion, no manifestation of God comes to divide us, right? And 1,000 years. What happened right at that point? Divided into Orthodox on one side and Catholics on the other side. What happened after that? 4 or 5 centuries of absolute terror. Crusades, Inquisition. Nobody dared to say what I believe versus what the other one believed. What happened after that? It was Protestant Revolution. What happened after that? Hundreds of sects, together with the amazing warfare that we had in the 16th century. That has happened in all religions. Baha'u'llah says then, not that God changes, but man divides, right? He says that the absolute power of God in that religion in the first 1,000 years, then we have to update it to the next manifestation, through the next manifestation. 2 more passages?
Yes, take your time.
Five.
There's no rush.
No, wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad. You guys are so kind and generous. I can't. But now, these are his word. Now, and then in this passage, in this chapter, he talks about that people in every age has opposed the manifestation, just like what they did to Jesus and Muhammad. He says, consider the past. How many, both high and low, have at all times yearningly awaited the advent of manifestation of God. The Jews were waiting for Jesus, right? How often have they expected his coming? How frequently have they prayed that the breeze of divine mercy might blow, and the promised beauty step forth from behind the veil of concealment, and be made manifest to all the world? And whenever the portals of grace did open, and the clouds of divine bounty did rain upon mankind, and the light of the unseen did shine above the horizon of celestial might, they all denied him and turned away from his face, the face of God himself. Prefer ye to verily see the truth. So this is the plight of humanity, because what is needed, like what you have done, I've seen in the past 3 years, is that inner purification, so that you'll embrace the truth from any source that it comes, right? Because that absolute truth, which is God, is one. I was a teacher for 33 years. I'm very cognizant of time. So as soon as this time is over, I'm also done, which is 4 minutes. Here, he begins to discuss the proofs of manifestation of God. And the essence of these 5 or 6 chapters, let me say it in a few words, and then I'll read to you a couple of passages. He basically says that first and foremost are the prophet's teachings. We have to go and search it for ourselves and look at all these teachings. Like in case of Baha'u'llah, 100 volumes of his writings. We have to go and explore. The same way that we go to school, this is our spiritual education. We need to search and delve into it deep to understand, based on our own understanding. So first and foremost is teachings. Then he says, the second proof is his life example. Like, of course, the example of Jesus, we all remember. And his suffering and his sacrifice. Same thing. It's the same kind of lifestyle we do in Baha'u'llah. Again, that's a historical part. We need to do it for ourselves. Then he says, look at his power of transforming lives. We are living, we are, I don't know how to put it. We have the privilege of living in this democracy. And Baha'is and Baha'i faith particularly, starting with Baha'u'llah, there are a lot of passages in praise of this democracy. This democracy. That in the future, you will be the vanguards of creating harmony on the planet Earth. So, but then in that regard, he talks about how manifestations have this power of transforming lives. Just we all remember the story of Jesus and the first 200-300 years of what they did. And you will see a similar story, particularly among Baha'is, particularly among the Baha'is of Iran, where the Baha'i faith started from, that we considered it to have been the darkest corner of the earth, and it still is. One of the darkest corners of the earth. And Baha'u'llah explains that where there's darkness overwhelms, then that light shines better. So when he gave his manifestation, thousands of people accepted it. And because of accepting it, they lost their lives, just like the early Christians. I mean, they confiscated their house, their properties, looted their homes, and at times killed the husband, the wife. So far, 22,000. We have a record of these people who were transformed, who accepted this faith, whose only aim was to change themselves and help change the world. And in the process, they lost their lives. We need to look at their stories. One of those guys was my wife's grandfather, whose story is just a story for a separate session, so I'll leave it. So, and then he talks about the fact that another reason is this creating unity. That all of these manifestations of God come for the purpose of creating unity, but one step at a time. And in this step, another thing that Baha'u'llah has devised, I don't know if anyone has seen a Baha'i temple. Has anyone have seen a Baha'i temple? Chicago? Chicago. There's some of the friends who, at this time, Baha'u'llah wants it to be at least every city to be a Baha'i temple of that dimensions and that city. But I'll explain to you the meaning of the Baha'i temple. Baha'u'llah says that there are these 9 main religions in the world. They have all come for the same basic truth. Progressively, they guide mankind. So therefore, all Baha'i temples, just like what our friends have seen in Chicago, has 9 sides, representing the 9 main religions of the world. And in all these Baha'i temples don't have a pulpit and any place for any one sermon. The passages from all the 9 main religions of the world, Buddhism, Christianity, Baha'i faith, and all that, is on every one of these doors. There are 9 doors, and so these passages. And then the seating arrangement is such that they all come to that one center, and this was then one globe, which is God, one dome. And they tell you that come through any door, worship it in any way that you wish, but understand that there's one God, there's one religion which has been revealed to man through time, and there's one race which is the human race. Now, the most prominent of these temples that now we have across the globe is the one in India. If anyone goes to India, you need to go to Delhi. This is the most visited temple on planet Earth, is that one in Delhi, which is the same shape, but it's also in the form of a lotus flower on water. And they say thousands upon thousands of people, Buddhists and Muslims and Hindu and Baha'is, from all kinds of people. They see this place as a real solace because they tell you, they're not going to judge you. Come here, pray in any way that you wish, in any language that you wish, and nobody is going to tell you. You just find the truth of oneness by yourself. So that's the idea of the Baha'i temple. Last. I didn't read this one. We'll go to the last one and leave you with that. But then again, this offer is open. And I'm retired. They pay me good. I don't know why they pay me. They still are paying me from Clemson University. So anytime you wish to have this book reviewed by us as a group, let me know. And I'm available 24 hours. No, not 24. 16 hours a day. Which one of these passages should I do? The last passage that I chose for you. Okay, this one, he says then, and this is true, there's one religion, revealed to man through time, one purpose, unify us. But then he says, the all-knowing physician, which is God, has his finger on the pulse of mankind. He perceiveth the disease and prescribeth in his unerring wisdom the remedy. Every age hath its own problem, and every soul is particular aspiration. The remedy world needeth in the present day can never be the same as that which is of subsequent age, he says even future, may require. Actually, he himself, in one of his passages, says, in order for you not to make this mistake, I'm telling you, in no questionable term, that the term of every religion, including Baha'i faith, is 1,000 years. After 1,000 years, your mind is not going to take it. You'll split and disintegrate. So God will send another messenger. So if anything else, just remember that the remedy the world needed in this present day afflictions can never be the same as that which a subsequent age may require. Be anxiously concerned with the needs of the age you live in, and center your deliberations on its exigencies and requirements. So together, what the exigencies of our time today, you and us, Baha'is and you, is how to heal the wound of religious separation. How to make them understand there is really one truth, there is really one religion, which has been revealed to man through time. Thank you all. I enjoyed it.